One simple question: why does money feel so important, yet so confusing at the same time? People chase it, save it, lose it, and worry about it every single day, but almost no one stops to ask what money actually is. That missing question quietly shapes entire lives, because when you don't understand money, it controls you instead. Money isn't powerful because of paper or ink. It's powerful because society agrees to believe in it. Trust is the invisible engine behind every currency. As long as trust exists, money works. The moment trust weakens, money weakens with it. History has proven this again and again. In economics, money is explained through its functions. These functions keep the system running smoothly. Without them, modern economies would collapse instantly. This is where real understanding begins. The first function of money is exchange. Money replaced barter between people. Instead of trading goods for goods, we trade through money. This makes life faster and simpler. The second function is measurement. Money measures value. It allows prices to exist and be compared. Without it, choice becomes chaos. The third function is storing value. Money is saved for future use, but this function is fragile because inflation slowly destroys it. Inflation quietly reduces purchasing power. The same amount of money buys less over time. This happens without noise or warning. Most people notice only when it's too late. When that happens, people blame themselves. They think they made bad choices, but the problem is rarely personal, it's systemic. Money didn't change, its power did. And that shift affects everyone differently. Now this is where credit enters the story, and where life becomes complicated. Credit means using future income today. It feels like help, it feels like support, but it always carries risk. Credit is provided by banks. Banks appear to take risk, but in reality, they protect themselves first. The borrower carries the real weight. Interest is the heart of credit. It is the price of borrowing money. The longer the loan lasts, the more you pay. Time always works in favor of the lender. Banks don't lend because they are kind. They lend because lending creates profit. Interest is their primary income source. The entire system depends on it. In textbooks, credit is often shown as a development tool, and sometimes that's true. Education, farming, and business growth rely on credit. This is productive credit. Productive credit creates income. That income helps repay the loan. Risk is managed over time. Progress becomes possible. But not all credit works this way. Some credit funds consumption, phones, fashion, lifestyle upgrades. No income is created. Consumption credit creates pressure. Payments begin immediately. Stress increases month by month. Freedom slowly fades. Minimum payments feel harmless. They look manageable, but debt stretches for years. Interest keeps growing silently. Interest compounds quietly. Delays make everything worse. Escaping debt becomes harder. Control slowly disappears. This is why banks demand collateral. Collateral reduces their risk. Homes, land, or gold are used. The bank stays protected. When payments stop, assets are taken. This is not emotional, it's procedural. The system shows no sympathy. People without collateral face a harsher reality. They still need money. Formal banks reject them. Choices become limited. Informal lenders fill that gap. Interest rates explode. Risk shifts entirely to the borrower. Poverty deepens. Access to credit shapes inequality. Some people move forward, others remain trapped. Effort alone is not enough. This gap is not about intelligence, it's not about discipline, it's about access, and the system rewards access. Money and credit shape behavior. They influence priorities and decisions. Fear slowly replaces ambition, and most people don't notice it happening. Plans begin to change, education choices shift, career paths adjust, money quietly directs life. Credit itself is not evil. Misuse causes damage. Lack of understanding increases risk. Knowledge changes outcomes. This is why financial education matters. Income alone doesn't create stability. Awareness and management do. Understanding brings control. High income with poor habits creates stress. Moderate income with discipline creates balance. The outcomes are very different. The difference is knowledge. This is why economics matters. It's not just academic theory, it explains real systems. Ignoring it is expensive. Understanding money reduces self-blame. People stop seeing themselves as failures. They recognize the system. That awareness is power. Understanding credit reduces fear. Decisions become intentional. Risks are calculated. Control increases. Control is the foundation of financial freedom. Not wealth alone, but decision-making power. That distinction matters. This chapter is not random. It reflects daily reality. The lessons are hidden in plain sight. You have to read deeper. Money should not control people. People should control money. That requires a mindset shift. Everything starts here. Without awareness, the system decides for you, quietly, slowly, without warning. This message isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to clarify. Clarity creates strength. Strength creates choice. Very few people question the system. Most accept it without thinking. That acceptance is costly. It lasts a lifetime. If this perspective feels new, pause. Awareness is rare. Not everyone reaches this point. Those who do, move differently. If you want clarity instead of confusion, subscribe to FinX. We explain systems, not slogans. Each video connects one piece, and the full picture changes